So, good morning, everyone. And this morning we're looking at the 12 amazing universal laws. So, I'm going to share my screen and dip in with them with you. And we're going to be taking questions from our wonderful audience that we have this morning. And I put a little presentation together. And we're going straight into present. So here are I would say, the more standard 12 universal laws. And I came across them I think it was a couple of weeks ago, with Wayne Dyer talking about them. And I thought, oh, I want to dip back into these because I'm going through lots of transitioning. So it's great to actually start reflecting on, what these laws are all about. So we're going to be being introduced to some of the themes and the underpinnings of each of them and how to apply them. But this is very much about you and how you would like to apply them in your life. And if you want to ask any questions, do a hands up. Or if you just want to explore more on one in particular, then again, just do us a hands up. So moving on. So this was the law for me at the beginning, before we came online, that I was really interested in. And this is this law of the divine oneness, because in business, we always are going on about, oh, I want to be different. How am I unique? Without thinking about the fact that we are all interconnected, and then discovering to what are your interconnectedness things all about in your business. Are you compassionate with everyone about everything? What is it that perhaps triggers you? So for me, it's much like you, probably continually looking at an audience. And then if we use this law to start thinking about this law of divine oneness and recognizing what are the similarities between people as opposed to what are the differences. In business circles, they call it putting together a stakeholder analysis, and that's an analysis of everyone that impacts on you in your business that perhaps you could be doing business with. And so I think it's really interesting to explore this law of divine oneness, especially in business, just to see how far out, if you dropped your business in as a stone into some water, how far out the ripples go. Who do you impact in the widest contexts? So yeah, I love the law of divine oneness. Are there any questions on that people might want to pop their hands up or put a hands up on the screen, or should we move on to the next one? I can move on to the next one then. Nobody's put their hand up. Okay, we're good to go. The law of divine oneness. So I know lots of you are interested in the law of vibration. And so it's recognizing that things are in constant motion and vibrating all the time. And we have a specific frequency. Other people have a specific frequency. And I'm sure, like me, you've met somebody and their vibration is turning you off or just triggering you. And it's then thinking about, okay, start thinking about, this is something Julie spoke about in her introduction. If you want to achieve something, it's knowing what that vibration is and then vibrating at that same vibration. So yesterday was quite interesting because I was putting together this presentation wanting to be at a very high vibration. Yet I was having messages from my ex-husband that was drawing me and dragging me into a lower vibration. And there was this whole tension going on because I knew I was being pulled into a different vibration. There was a very low negative vibration, but it's really difficult to lift your vibration. We see a lot in books and videos that says, yes, just raise your vibration. It's not that easy. When you actually put this into action, it's not that easy. And I know Tony was talking about, surrounding yourself with people of a similar vibration in order that you might raise your vibration and go to the next level. But it's also recognizing a lot of us are dealing with memories of people who perhaps are not part of our tribe anymore, of a lower vibration, and we keep running those memories almost like in a looping thought, where really we just need to discharge it, because we're not going to be able to raise our vibration unless we actually move on from their vibration. It's almost like us saying, well, I know I want to run these old memories. You're keeping your foot on that stone, and then you putting your other foot on a higher vibration, yet it's one body. So in some ways, we've really got to make decisions about how we deal with when we're in a low vibration. How can we bring ourselves back to a sense of equilibrium? How do we do that in order then to almost like gather pace to get back into the vibration we're aiming for? So I'm going to pull Sangeeta in for this. So Sangeeta, I know you were talking about vibrations. Would you like to add something on this?
It's so funny. I was thinking about so I can talk a lot about law of vibration. I knew you heard me. Sure. Okay, yeah. I think that's the vibration that impacts us a lot, on every single level, emotional level, mental level, physical level. And I have worked a lot on that for last 10, 12 years in thinking, how do I maintain my vibration? And it's not about beating ourselves when we are pulled down. It's about knowing, being aware of, yes, we are pulled down. Like you were saying yesterday, you knew it. So then we have few techniques how to pull ourselves back up. And one of my techniques that really, really worked, and it is powerful one, is to listen to a high vibration music, because that shift your vibration in few seconds, whenever I'm, and it's not even about ignoring what we are feeling. So there's two ways I do it. At times it feels right to feel those emotions that's coming up and saying, okay, do I need to work on it, and feel it to heal it? Or you think, okay, that's somebody else projecting their energy on me and I really don't want to be there. I have dealt with them. I don't want to deal with them. How can I now shift my vibration? So I just put my Bhangra music on. It's like I'm going to dance and sing. And that really shifts my vibration and say, okay, but I have a break. If I'm working on something and my energies are pulled in lower vibrations, like, no, there is nothing good going to come out of it. So I need to have a break, either go out in nature, either listen to music, or just sit with that feeling. So until I heal that and then I move forward. I hope that helps.
Yes, I'm a bit of a Mozart fan, so I tend to put Mozart on, do a bit of dancing, as I say, go out into the garden. In some ways, a bit like Superman, do a bit of a spin in a telephone box and then come back in and thinking,
Yeah.
feel a little bit of a different space now. Lynn, you had your hand raised. What would you like to add on this?
Yeah, just that as a part of this is why I joined I Am Woman, because the vibration in I Am Woman is where I want to be, I guess. So that was part of my decision to join, was I want to be that. So being amongst other people who have got a high vibration helps your own vibration.
That's a good ad. And for, sometimes people, when they come for coaching, I can see that their vibration is low and they're holding on to the past. And they've got to let that go to get into a higher vibration to, in some ways, deal with themselves and their business at the same time. Because so many things in your personal life will stop you actually achieving in that business realm. So, yeah, this is a great one to remind us of this lower vibration. And I know Julie Baker was talking about it. Julie's with us this morning. It's knowing what is the vibration of your marketplace, what is the vibration perhaps of your product, and knowing that vibration and being clear about, are you at that same vibration? And your customers, what vibration are they at? And how can you develop rapport at their vibration, perhaps take them to a higher vibration with you? So it's a biggie, number two, it's law of vibration. So the third one is the law of correspondence. And it's about the patterns that keep repeating in your life, and start thinking about okay, what patterns do I keep rerunning? Could it be self-sabotage? Is it that you end up in relationships with similar people? Is it that you end up having similar fallouts with people? When it comes to your business, what are the patterns there that perhaps are going wrong, or the patterns that are going right? So being really clear about the patterns that surround you. So would anyone like to tell us more about the law of correspondence? Or are they in a situation they've realized, hang on, this is a repeating pattern. I've done this before. I've been here before with this. And why am I rerunning this? And what have I got to change or shift or heal in order to stop repeating this? Why am I back here again? What is it that keeps bringing me back? So looking for the patterns, there are patterns. So what might be the patterns around you or your business that you keep rerunning and perhaps are not serving you so well? So yeah, I'm going to move on then. There's no questions on the pattern of correspondence. We will move on. The law of attraction. This is a big one. This is such a massive one. You know, so many people have made their billions out of the law of attraction. And so when you start exploring this, it's recognizing the whole ethos around the law of attraction is that you attract what you vibrate. Again, building on the law of vibration. So it's being really clear about your vibration. What is your vibration? And then looking at, is your vibration authentic? And are you aligning with what you want? And then this is really interesting and really got me thinking over the weekend. So it's recognizing manifesting happens when there is an alignment of your feelings, actions, and thinking. They've got to be aligned. Too often we think it's all about healing the feeling. But without taking the action, the manifesting doesn't happen. And manifesting sits actually between actions and thinking. It's not enough to think alone. You've got to take the action. And so for me, I think in the context of this, I will do as much as I can. And then knowing what I can't do, I'm pushing out there to the universe to help me. Almost like get around the corners that I can't. But too often, I think people think they can just wish it and think it's all about wishbone as opposed to backbone. Well, it's a bit of wishbone and a bit of backbone. And the feelings have to be aligned. So many people think, oh, I want the law of attraction to bring me, perhaps it's money or whatever it is, but they're not doing what they need to do, especially this alignment of feelings, action, and thinking. Those have to be aligned. So you might feel you want to do something, but have you sorted out the whole thinking around it? And have you worked out what the actions are connected with it to achieve it? Because only then will you start attracting into your life what you want. Is this a bit of a surprise to people, thinking it is this alignment of feelings, action, and thinking? Sangeeta, what do you think? Were you aware it's the three things aligned?
Yeah, I was aware, and I think I've always really, really big on feelings, but then I was reminded that, yeah, action is needed, and not just any action, aligned action is needed. So I always look at thinking, feeling, and action, in that manner, because my thinking, my beliefs are going to create the feelings, and that's going to either stop me taking action or going to push me forward to taking action.
So coming to you, Kim, what are your thoughts on this?
Just from the law of attraction, having worked with this quite a lot with people, it's about what you were saying, Cheryl, there. It's about really seeing what your reversals are to it. I want it, but, and it's seeing where your buts are. So like, I want this big success, but oh, I'll have to step out of my comfort zone, or that gives me some fear, or how will it change my family situation, or how I look after my children, or anything else that's going on in the background of your mind needs to be thought about. So when I help people with sort of whether it's goals, visualization of a success pattern that they want, we create a visualization of it in like a bubble, really plowing in all of the thoughts and even all of the worries about it as well, everything you can think of. And then you bring it in through yourself, softening and flowing any energies that are blocking that visualization within yourself to align your vibration and clear up any of those reversals and fear. And then it goes off to the universe to be out there in the work, in to be manifested. As if we create a visualization and say, here you are, universe, I'd like some of that, please, which is what a lot of people do and why it doesn't work for them. You're not dealing with the internal landscape, which is where the reversals sit. So it has to come in, through, and then out to get that vibrational match to what you're attracting.
100%. I can remember, I know this sounds really flippant, but I can remember at the stage where I wanted to lose weight, and it was a long time ago. It was when Jane Fonda brought out her videos, yeah? So I thought, right, I want to lose weight, therefore I buy a Jane Fonda video, yeah? But all I would do with my Jane Fonda video, I'd sit down and watch it, eating a bag of crisps, thinking, gosh, they're exhausted, yeah? I don't think I could ever get into that position. But thinking, the fact that I'd taken the action alone of buying the video and sitting and watching it, eating a bag of crisps, was enough. Yeah. So I know it's quite a light-hearted one, but it's we think we are resolving a something, and I think it's very common with women. And I actually, in my meditation this morning, I had something come up over the weekend, and I know I'm still working on it internally. And I know in the past, in order to make me feel better, I would buy myself something. Yeah. So instead of actually dealing with the why am I feeling this way? And I think so many women, instead of dealing with this alignment, will actually go outside, almost like I thought buying the video was the thing that was going to help me lose the weight. How many of us buy something, buy a pair of shoes because that would make us feel better, or buy something, or buy something, and buy something, thinking it's something externally that'll make us feel better or make things work, as opposed to digging deep and asking ourselves, what do I really need to do in order to resolve this internally? What have I got to do here in order? And Sangeeta, I suppose you deal with it a lot. It's almost like, what have I got to heal within me, or heal within my thought process, or heal within perhaps the kind of actions that I'm taking, in order then to clear up what's holding back a misalignment between feelings, actions, and thinking. Yeah. Sangeeta, would you like to add more on that?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with Kim, what she was saying. She explained it beautifully. It's this, just looking inwards, and sometimes it's tough. One, because nobody has ever taught us. Because, everybody, we get this programming, always look outside what we are getting, what we are doing, and all of that. But going within, it's a tough decision, and it's a process that a lot of people struggle with. So that's where we need some help or support with other people. Because sometimes if I'm feeling really low, I can go into depression and other things. But unless I have somebody support and saying, it's okay, I am here, we'll go through this process together. It's a scary place, and that's why most of us say, okay, yeah, I love that. I have done that, buying clothes. Oh, let me, it'll make me feel good. And it does make me feel good for 5 minutes. And then that feeling is still there, so we just need to recognize, is that feeling moving away from us, or is it temporarily moving away and we are still in that? Is the outer reality shifting or not? So that kind of gives us clue. Okay, if doing little action, nothing is changing in my reality, then something needs to be done, you know something we have to dig a little deeper. But then we get there. That's the good part. We get there.
I love the law of attraction, and the law of attraction I actually put into motion in order to raise finance that I needed to buy this house initially. And it's one of those things where I thought to myself, technically it can't happen. Say, for example, I had to raise something like 20,000 in, so like 4 or 5 weeks, yeah? Technically it couldn't happen, yeah? So I knew I had to go somewhere bigger. So I prayed to God, prayed to the universe, prayed to the angels, thinking, okay, I need help in order to do this because I know technically it's impossible. I know technically it's impossible. And then I thought, I'm going to have to say to the universe, I'm going to do what I can that's uncomfortable for you to know how much I'm trying. So I said to the universe, I'm going to live off £50 a week in this transition of trying to raise this money. And so I don't know how I did it. I lived off, and I was feeding my dogs. So it was me and the dogs being fed on £50 a week. Yeah. And it was amazing because money came in from everywhere, absolutely everywhere, tax rebates, you name it. And it was so funny because I got to my 20,000 I was trying to raise, and then I realized I needed another 7. I needed another 7. So when I got in the house, I had money available to get skips and all that kind of stuff moving. So I said, oh, universe, oh God, I'm £7,000 short. Can we do another 7,000, please? And we did another 7,000. It's just so funny. And it's wonderful when you're in that flow of energy where almost like the impossible becomes possible. It's so magical, so magical. Anyway, so law of attraction, I love it. So this is yours then, Sangeeta, the law of inspired action. You're looking for the law of inspired action and how to put that to work in your life. So it's taking those real actionable steps that invite what we want into our lives. And sometimes it's listening for those gentle nudges. And sometimes it's not the big things, it's the gentle nudges. It's almost like that still small voice that we have going on. And for me, that's why meditation is just so important, to sit with yourself. It's almost like having your AGM with yourself every morning to say, hey, let's get back in tune with ourselves. Otherwise, it's almost like driving a car and never stopping at a crossroads or traffic lights, and you're just keeping going. And I know, Lynn, you were talking about this earlier. You were saying there's a lot going on at the moment. And I think meditation is even more important when there's lots going on, because you need to just quieten down and make sure that any action that you're taking is coming from within and is in line and attuned with what's right for you. And so, oh, it actually says here how to apply it. Slowing down. Yes, slow down. Getting quiet and creating a space for inner guidance. Who has got a space set up in their homes that they can go to for inner guidance and space? Oh, lovely. So we'll come to you second, Kim. We'll listen to Julie first. So Julie, where do you go to get that quiet space for yourself to slow down?
So I've got my little therapy room where I do Reiki on my clients and my coaching and whatnot. So I go in there, and yeah, it's just nice and quiet, away from the dogs. And it's lovely. I'm all out.
But as well, energetically speaking, we should go into an enclosed room, not a big space, because the energy you then work with stays in that.
Yeah, this is just a little room. It's a little room that's built next to my house, and my brother's a Reiki master. I'm a Reiki master. My brother actually built it for me, so it's got lovely energy in there. It's perfect.
Ah, thank you. Coming to you, Kim. Where do you go?
We have a room upstairs here where I do my yoga as well. So I've got all my sort of exercise stuff in there. I've got a sofa in there, a yoga meditation chair. I've got my crystals and my Native American Indian drum that I've got, and just whatever I feel like doing. Usually after work is my time, so that's when I like to sort of stretch out, do some yoga, unwind my body from being sat at a laptop often, do some meditation. So it doesn't have to always be in the morning for people. I think it's about what time of day works for you, whether it's your schedule or energy wise. And for me, unwinding at the end of my busy day is my perfect time.
I want to come. I want to go to Kim's room. Yeah, it sounds like a great play space. I'd love to go there. Lovely. Thank you. I'm going to crack on. We're only on number 5. Moving on. Number 6. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. So this law states on an energetic level that everything in the universe is constantly evolving and fluctuating. So every action is preceded by a thought, with thoughts themselves having the power eventually to manifest in our physical reality. So again, this is all about energy and uplifting energy around us by maintaining positive thoughts and actions. So I'm going to move on because we have touched aspects of this. So law number 7, this is the law of cause and effect. So it's recognizing that every action that you have has an effect. And obviously, if it's good, great. If it's not so good, it's almost like recognizing it is going to come back. So in some ways, thinking of the law of karma. So just recognizing, just be very careful with your actions, because, it is going to come back and haunt you then, as it were. And then start thinking about every day, how can you do positive actions? Thinking, who can I pick the phone up to perhaps and just chivvy them along, or who could I send a card or just send a nice message. So it's really thinking about these beautiful actions that you can then have that ripple out. And I'm always amazed by friends that I have who've kept cards that I've sent them for years and years and years. And you think at the time you didn't realize just how important that card was in their lives. So yeah, the law of cause and effect is a really powerful one. So moving on to 8, the law of compensation. So this is all about reaping what you sow and thinking about, what is it that you're putting out there? That's perhaps quite simple things that perhaps you should be doing more of, that have such amazing impact on other people. And I can remember, because I live in the same street as Tony, I decided one Easter to, or before Easter, to sow a whole pack of sunflower seeds. And then on Easter weekend, to go around to all the neighbours and leave them their own sunflower plant with a little message. And I was amazed how many lovely cards I had back. And some people brought chocolates to the door and lovely letters from the children in the homes who'd never had a sunflower or grown a sunflower. And you think to yourself, that was just a packet of sunflower seeds that probably only cost a few quid, and the pots I already had. So it's really thinking through, what is it that you perhaps you want to sow? And what are you reaping in order to, will you reap based on what you're sowing? So really asking yourself, what is it that you want to reap? It could be emotions, it could be, I'm coaching one lady at the moment who just wants to feel at home in her home and her community. So she knows what she wants to reap. She wants to develop a friendship circle and lots of other things. And now she's sowing so much in order to make that happen. So it's being really clear about what you want to reap and then what you're going to sow. And just sow, I would say. Sometimes it's just nice to just unconditional love out there, just sow and enjoy the reaping. Yeah. We're on number 8, moving on to 9. We're doing okay with time. So this is the law of relativity, number 9. So it's recognizing we always keep comparing ourselves with other people, whether it's, oh, they live in this house and I live in another house, or it could be, oh, they shop here and I shop there, or they've got a business that turns over this. I'm fed up of hearing about 6-figure businesses and everybody feeling, you know, almost like as though they're not achieving anything if they're not a six-figure business. So, you know, what is this law of relativity for you? Who are you comparing yourself with? How are you comparing yourself? What kind of impact is that having upon you? So start thinking about this law of relativity, because really, you know, success is what you define it as. It's nobody else's business, really, other than your business. It's your business how you measure success. They're your values. You put up the markers for what success in your life or not. And sometimes we can feel ungrateful about things as opposed to feeling grateful for what we had, because when I was downscaling in order to pay for my ex-husband's care when he was dying from Alzheimer's, whenever I downscaled, I can always remember looking at other people's houses thinking, oh gosh, you know, my house isn't as nice now, and never feeling grateful for the house I was in. I was always comparing myself and really developing a sense of failure around the house I'd left behind. So, you know, start thinking about your own life. What is it that you should be more grateful for as opposed to less grateful for? Because perhaps you're comparing yourself with probably people that don't even know you are comparing themselves to them. Yeah. And the only person you're hurting is yourself by doing this comparison that's quite unrealistic. Can anyone add on this? Who's comparing themselves with somebody else, whether it's a six-figure business person, or they look a lot more successful, or they've got a bigger car, or whatever? Is there anyone out there who will admit to the law of relativity of causing them problems? No, it was just me. I've been doing it in the past. Okay, well, we all know what I did, so we'll move on. Okay, moving on to number 10. So then thinking about this law of polarity and looking again at patterns, and then thinking about, you know, looking at yourself at a personal level, what's happening in you, and thinking about this as above, so below, so within, so without. So start thinking about, you know, it could be something that's troubling you, could be a situation, and then think about what that situation can actually show you, what requires healing in that law of polarity. You know, where are you actually going off the scale one way or other, where really it's about sitting down with that problem and working through it and thinking about how you can solve that problem. And I know Sangeeta and I, and probably Kim as well, and Julie, and probably yourself, Ellen, because you're working in a healing context, you know, are very much dealing with people. Even if you were to think of this as a bit of bipolar, some people are either, you know, phonetic at the top or depressed at the bottom, as opposed to actually looking at the problem and healing actually what's causing the problem. Could we pull you in on this, Ellen? Because I'm sure you must be dealing with the law of polarity, especially with women going through the menopause.
Hello, yes. Yeah, definitely trying to encourage people, I suppose, to look within and see what they are believing about the menopause as well. And, you know, what we believe is true for us becomes, isn't it really? So if we're thinking that menopause, definitely we're going to be fatter, or we're going to be unhealthy, or we're going to have more symptoms. And if we put our focus on that, then that tends to then happen more, instead of focusing on empowering ourselves, thinking, what can I do? What can I change? What can I improve? My purpose, I suppose, is to help them to stop feeling helpless going through the perimenopause, and empowering them to know that there's tons of things they can do to help themselves through it. Yeah.
Recognizing there are these patterns of time that we go through, you know, we are going to be different at 60 than we were at 20. You know, and we are going to be needing to think differently about how we look after ourselves, how we maintain our health. I suppose, Kim, you come across this a lot with people, them not accepting there are patterns to somebody's life, and there are these patterns that have to be worked through, and our bodies need to, in some ways, compensate for these patterns that we will be going through.
100%, yeah. It will always manifest in the body in the end, whether it's been our mental and emotional state, or the way we physically treated our body, or emotions that we've chosen not to deal with and packed away and hidden. It comes to manifest itself in the body in some form or another in the end. And I think that, you know, like Ellen, working with people in such a holistic way, you know, nutrition is such a key part of it, but so is mindfulness and mental health and getting moving and being physical and looking at your emotions is just so important. But you can only help people when they're ready. That's one of the things. Sometimes the frustration of the work that we do is meeting people who aren't ready to really embrace the movement forward. They want to sit in their being disempowered, being a victim, and they're just not, or they want a quick fix solution. We're in a very much quick fix solution society, you know, where, you know, they want you to just wave a magic wand and all will be well, not actually coming to the party with the energy to and the motivation to make change and recognize the progress along the way, because sometimes it's small steps.
Great.
But we don't always celebrate our progress, do we?
No. Thank you, Kim. So we're moving on to 11 and then looking at the law of rhythm. So it's thinking about the cycles that are natural part of the universe. So thinking about the seasons. And some people I know eat food that is only in season. And so start thinking about, it could be the rhythm of your week, the rhythm of the time that you're living in. Start thinking about your own health. Is your health following the right rhythm? For me, I have a little keep fit rhythm, and I know if I don't do that, if I skip it in any way, my body feels out of rhythm because it needs that constant piece of, you know, keeping fit. And start thinking about, you know, your growth ambitions. So is there rhythm to your growth ambitions, or have they fallen out of rhythm with your life in some way? And think about your inner rhythms. You know, what are your inner rhythms all about? Are your inner rhythms healthy or unhealthy? How are you working with them? Or are you constantly fighting with your inner rhythm that really wants to be heard by you? Perhaps your inner rhythm is saying, I want to go out for a walk every day, yeah? And perhaps you're ignoring that. I know I'm ignoring swimming at the moment, and I know I really want to get back to swimming. I want to get back into the rhythm of swimming. I used to live on in the grounds of the Vale Hotel that had a sports centre, and every morning I'd get up and swim a mile. I really do miss the rhythm of my swimming. And when I looked at my underarms, I thought my underarms are missing the rhythm of my swimming. Yeah, I need to get back to swimming to get my arms back in shape. So what is there in the law of rhythm? Perhaps you're missing, your body's missing. Perhaps it's whispering to you and, you know, telling you, you know, I'm really missing this. I want to be looked after in this particular way, and I need it to be part of my ongoing rhythm going forward. And the last one, the law of gender. And I know, Sangeeta, you related to this, the law of male and female, and working with them both within our lives. And, you know, recognizing in business, you know, business historically was, you know, very male gender specific. And but now, you know, women are coming through, but knowing that women do not want to come through in that masculine way of doing business, but want to do business their way, in a more feminine way. So it's looking at yourself really and saying, you know, am I working with masculine and feminine? And how can I keep the balance between masculine and feminine in me, you know, almost like the yin and yang? And start thinking about, you know, your divine masculine and your divine feminine energies. What do they look like? What do they want to look like for you? Because you're making the rules. It's up to you, really. If you're living authentically, you know, what's your percentage? Entirely up to you. So, Sangeeta, what did you want to explore on the law of gender? What's going on for you when it comes to masculine and feminine energy?
I think what I realized a lot of my times that I was more in feminine energies, and I was okay with that. And I was struggling when it came time to take action. And then I looked at it, through rapid transformational therapy and a lot of healing I did. So my divine masculine was a little weaker. And now I think I remember how the shift came when my husband was diagnosed, and I had to be in a masculine energy, because now I took charge of things and I have to do things all the time. And I think all that period, 2 years period, was tough. But it showed me, it reminded me how powerful I am, and I can make anything happen, if I come in my masculine energy and in doing things. But again, it was like about, sometimes it's about balancing, and it's tough, because the feminine side is gentleness and compassion and kindness and loving. And I was giving that to others, but I was not willing to receive, you know so then I was looking around. I was like, there's nobody to give me. And then I thought, okay, actually, Sangeeta, you are there to give yourself. So I went into learning self-love and self-care, and that brought me back into my feminine energy. And yet when I have to take action, it was learning how much of it, when to take the right action, when I do feel aligned and to do it. So it's all about learning and juggling sometimes. But whenever I have been balanced and taken action from this place of love and care and saying, okay, I need to do it, but taking care of myself first, yeah, it really revealed a lot to me, and I learned a lot, and it gives me always great results when I am in the balance of both, because we have both, and I recognized it, and I now try to help other people and saying, hey, I was actually talking to a client 2 3 days ago, and I was saying, you're always in your masculine energy. Why do you think you have to struggle so much to achieve what you want? How about using your feminine energy to sit back and relax? Because most of us, we don't want to relax because we are just like, okay, we need to hit that target, we need to achieve that goal. But no, just take your time and just relax and listen to that inner voice, which is feminine energy, and then the balance will come.
Beautiful, beautiful. What a lovely way to close down the 12 laws. I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'd love to hear from you guys. What have you learned, or what are you going to put into action based on these laws? What is it? What have you learned this morning? What are you going to apply? What's going to change for you? So Ellen, we'll come to you first because you're top of the list here. So Ellen, can we come to you? What have you learned, and what will you put into action?
Oh, I'm delving at the moment into Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, and as you were describing, because I meditate every morning, and it's about, I want to lean deeper into my visualization of what my future, for my goals, what I want my future to look like. But it is that putting emotion behind it, isn't it? And feeling it, imagining it's here now. So I want to strengthen that within myself, because sometimes I do self-doubt, and I'm hard on myself, and the blocks come up, and then that reflects. Then I find if I'm down on myself, oh my God, it straight away reflects on my bank balance. And when I'm in that high energy, vibrating, feeling good, it reflects in my bank balance. So that's my indication of where I'm at in my energy. And yeah, when money flows in, I know I'm in a good place. And when then it goes to lack, I'm thinking, okay, what's my mindset? Am I in lack mindset? Am I judging myself, comparing myself? I do that, so it's being kind to myself as well. And I love what Sangeeta said about sitting, which I've learned recently as well, is sitting in the pain, sitting in the emotion of grief, feeling it, going through it, instead of pushing it away with food or shopping or products or whatever you love. Yeah. So yeah, love today. Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank
Excellent.
you. So next on our list, Julie Baker. What have you learned, Julie, and how are you going to put it to work?
I think the law of rhythm is a big one for me, because I love getting up early in the morning, but just lately I just haven't been able to do it. And so I think I really need to make a real big effort to get up early in the morning. And because, yeah, I'm just so tired. It's like, I know if I get up earlier, I won't feel so tired. I was like, oh my word. So yeah, I need to really sort myself out. But I have left the care home that I was working in, because it just really, not the job itself, just the people that I work with. So I'm kind of getting back on track and breathing back into myself, and without any distractions, just actually focusing wholly on my business, which, yeah, overwhelm. I'll be fine. I'll get there.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you for sharing. Coming to Karen. Karen, what have you learned? What will you put into action?
I think it's remembering that everything's cyclical in nature, that we all go around in circles. You know, that is the economy, that's life. And sometimes you evolve and sometimes you come back to the beginning again, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think there was something about evolving as well. Where did I write it down? Oh yeah, the perpetual transmutation of energy. Everything evolves. That's that whole thing of RTT, where thoughts become actions, or feelings become thoughts, thoughts becomes actions, actions become thoughts, and it's that again cyclical.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Lovely. Thank you for sharing. And coming to Lynn. Lynn, what have you learned? Are you going to calm down now and find a little quiet space for yourself?
I think perhaps that's what I should take away from this. But actually, what this has done is remind me that our vibration does go up and down, and to keep things moving, I have to make sure that I don't get complacent about that, and I keep taking action, and I keep work moving forward as well. It's not just sitting back and waiting for the next thing to happen. You know, that taking part in that is important too. So I think gratitude for where I am and what's going on, and keeping my vibration, yeah, where it needs to be.
And if you are looking for that next step, it's knowing what the vibration of that is and then getting into that alignment. Lovely. Thank you, Lynn. And coming to you, Tony, what have you taken from this morning and how will you put it into work?
Similar to Julie, like the law of rhythm, I'm thinking there about the things that I'm putting in place and the things that I'm trying to change and new habits in my life. And it occurred to me that maybe I need to slow down with each of them and do a little rather than a lot, and stay consistent rather than then, like, you know, not journaling for 2 days, or maybe I've overrun and I won't run for 2 days. It's just little, often, consistent, and just taking the win, being grateful you got up and did it, and, you know, giving yourself a high five for that. It doesn't have to be life-changing effort, you know. I think that's what comes through for me the most.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. And Sangeeta, coming to Sangeeta, what have you learned from this morning, Sangeeta?
I think it was really great to be reminded of all the laws of attraction, or all the laws of the universe, because we work with them all the time, but sometimes we are focusing on one more. A lot of people think about law of attraction, and I remember learning about that and saying, okay, well, actually what I want, I need to be. If I want love, I need to be in a loving vibration. If I want abundance, I need to be feeling abundant. So it's all about, for me, it's all about feelings. But just going through it again, all of that, and listening to everybody, I think it's just reminded me of where I need to be and what I need to do. And I'm just learning to be really, really kind to myself and do what I can, listen to my body, be in the rhythm, and yeah, so I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. And coming to you, Kim, for the last word on this, because you have so much to say about I know these laws, and I know you're an expert healer and probably work with these all the time. So Kim, over to you for the last word.
I know I really enjoyed, though, because sometimes when you're working with the laws naturally, just because of your life experience and where you've come, you forget to verbalize it to others, because it's so innate in yourself, as it is for probably most of the women on this call, that having these, like just Sangeeta just said, having this reminder to actually verbalize it, because not everybody has had a life that's been privy to that kind of information. And it's helped me out. I've got an idea that I'm sharing with my team tonight to create more of an impact and to show them how meaningful their business is. And I'm going to tie some of those laws into that. Specifically, I was thinking the law of cause and effect, and how we can put that to good use to manifest real positivity in our mindset towards our business, which then helps us to create inspired action, which then helps to initiate the law of attraction through raising our vibration. So that's how I'm going to use it tonight, by applying my idea that I already had and bringing in those laws into it. So that's really helped, actually.
Can you rerun the laws again you're going to bring into action? So you're working with your team. Can you run us through them again?
So how to have the law of cause and effect.
Yeah.
And manifesting greatly. So the idea is that I'm going to create a WhatsApp group called Impact, where team members can share how they're impacting people's lives in any big or small way, so that we build this energy of progression and impact that we're having, which creates meaningful business. And so therefore, the law of cause and effect, we have caused someone to have a happier outcome in their life. And so the effect of that raises the vibration for everyone and causes us to manifest more of impacting people's lives. So the more people sit in that group and see others, it's going to create inspired action within them, because they will see that they want to create an impact. And that will then start to initiate the law of attraction, because their vibration will be going up through the fact that they'll have more confidence, more stories to tell, more to share.
Oh, that's
Therefore,
wonderful.
more people to help.
Well, good luck for tonight. Good luck. Yeah.
So that might help Ellen, because I know you've got a team as well. So
yeah, it's lovely to see how these laws get put into action. Absolutely wonderful. So thank you, everyone. It's been a great morning. Really enjoyed looking at these 12 laws. I'm sure we work with them all the time anyway, but it's great to be reminded of them. Or even if you feel yourself slipping a bit energetic wise, you can actually remind yourself of them. So thank you, everyone. I know next Monday it's Bank Holiday Monday, so we won't be doing I Am Woman Hour, but we will be back the following week with something exciting and juicy.
Take care. Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Bye. Have a great day. Bye.